Hey guys, my name is Brant Phillips, and if you're a house flipper, I need you to be aware of home inspectors. Beware, I should say. So my name is Brant Phillips, and like I said, I've flipped about 500 houses over the years, and I'm going to share a little story with you of why you should beware of home inspectors. Okay, so we were flipping this house, and we did a Mac Daddy rehab on this thing, 75 to 80K, and this is, I'm going back 10, 15 years from now. So this is back in the day when 75, 80K rehab in today's world is like $150,000. So I'm like, we did almost everything. So we finally comes time to put this house on the market, and we get a contract. Not right away. This is kind of a little bit of a slow market, I remember. And so we were like very happy. Me and I had a partner, and we were super happy to get this contract on the house. So I went over to check on a couple things on a particular day, and the home inspection was going on. My agent didn't tell me this. So I went to meet with I didn't go to meet, I just went to go to the property and check on some things. And I happened to meet, the home inspector was there doing his thing, and the actual house buyer was there. And so I started having a conversation with this lady, and she was head over heels with this house. It was like just a wonderful, incredible house. You know, a lot of square footage, huge backyard, just remodels. The house was like so nice, and she was ecstatic that they had it under contract. She's talking about like how excited her family was and her kids were, and just couldn't wait to move in. And she said they had recently had another house that busted out of contract, and so they're happy to have this one, and I was happy too. And I was just like, felt good. I mean, she loves this house. We did an incredible rehab. And so I left, and it wasn't 2 or 3 hours later, my agent called me to tell me that they were busting out of the contract. And I'm like, well, are you sure you got the right right client here? Is this the right house? And she said, yeah, there was something with the home inspection that came back bad, and they're busting out of the contract. And I'm like, what could it possibly be? So we ended up getting a copy of the inspection report. And I want to take a side note. This is going to be a little educational video. So if you're just new getting into flipping, you got to be careful, because if a buyer discloses that seller's disclosure with you, they share it with you, now you have to disclose that and share it with any potential future buyers. Okay. But they went ahead and shared it with us. So we're taking a look at this inspection report, and it wasn't about a couple of days later until we got it. It was 75 or 80 pages long on a completely remodeled home. This guy was like crawling around in the attic and doing a zoom photography on like a rusted nail and stuff like that. Just like, it was ridiculous. And there was nothing major that came back on this report. There was minor cracks in the brick, just little minor things, but he happened to put it in a way where it was 80 pages long, and just terrified the buyer. Come to find out, it was their third property that they had busted out of. So I started thinking about this. So if you're a home inspector, I'm not saying all home inspectors are bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm very guarded about the home inspection industry. And I'm going to give you a couple examples why. One is a story, one is another story I'm going to share. So this particular home inspector written up this thing is like 75, 80 pages long. And I'm like, my gosh. And there's like really no substance to it. And for those of you, if you follow me or heard many of my stories, you may know that I came from law enforcement. I used to be in law enforcement before I came into real estate. I was in law enforcement, went into corporate world for a little bit. I hated it, and I was still broke. And then I ultimately went into real estate. Well, when I was in law enforcement, my last year and a half there, one of my supervisors was on the verge of retirement. So he went to get his home inspector's license to give him a post-law enforcement career. And he was like, I love the guy. He was like a dad to me at the police department. So he was working on getting his license. So he would come to work, meaning at the police department, and he would do some home inspector work. Like he would take some time and be writing up reports while we're on duty. And I'm not saying it was right. I'm just telling you what happened. But occasionally, he would ask me to come sit down. He's like, Brant, come here. He's an older guy. He's like, Brant, come here. Sit down. I need your help. What do you think this is? And he's literally pointing to pictures of houses that he visited. And he's asking me to help write up the inspection report. I was like, I had never lived in a house since I was a kid. Like I lived in an apartment, knew nothing about real estate, and I'm like, I don't know, and I'm literally helping him write up inspection reports. So I'm already coming into the real estate world, probably not the most trusting of home inspectors. So I had that kind of experience in the back of my mind. So here's what happened with that same house with the 80-page inspection report. So the only thing that we did that there was in the attic, because we had to replace some sheetrock, there was a section in the attic where they did not put insulation back. Okay, not a big deal. So we did that. We did no other major repairs. There's like a couple maybe plugs ungrounded, super minor things. Went and did very minor things. 2-3 months later, took a little bit. I remember that. We get another contract. Okay, get another contract from a couple. This is a couple older gay men, I remember, and they're really great guys. I was talking to them. And anyways, they, got a copy of our home inspection report. We said, we have a home inspection report that we can share with you. And they're like, we have a home inspector we trust. We're going to just pay for another one because we trust our guy. I'm like, okay, cool. Literally, the same house, different inspector comes back, 16-page report. 16-page report. They said, everything's great, everything's good, let's go to closing, and we close. So beware of your home inspectors, okay? Because if you think about their business model, typically a client is a one-time client, right? They're going to get that business one time, unless they scare the bejesus out of them, and then they bust out, and then they go buy another house. And then if they bust out of that one, then they get more business. So I started seeing that, and I've seen this multiple times over the years. Okay, and you can kind of tell how the home inspectors writing up their reports, if they're trying to go for like 100 pages and just ding and dong and ding all this kind of stuff and scare buyers, versus other people they're assessing it, but they're not trying to fill up 100 pages on a PDF. So be aware, if you're a home flipper and you're just starting out, of this home inspection process. And also this is really important. So what I've learned from flipping 500 homes is you never want to lose a contract because of an inspection report. So we have a process in our company, and was part of our systems, is like we have a pre-inspection walkthrough. We just don't want to leave any low-hanging fruit for a home inspector to ding us with. What does that mean? Checking your plugs, making sure that they're grounded, testing your faucets, making sure there's no leaks, make sure the AC and heater's working, going around making sure the roof's sealed up, there's no caulking or whatever that needs to be done. Just are the windows opening, closing, are doors sticking, minor things that you can do. You're not going to do anything major at that point. You're already under contract. But we do this typically 1 or 2 days right before an inspection takes place. So when we go under contract to sell a home, as soon as we go under contract, even though it's fully remodeled, we know everything's done, we still, most of the time, not all the time, we're going to do this pre-inspection walkthrough, go check all these basic things, just so we don't give them any easy dings to ding us with, and like just some freak your buyer out. Because some buyers, especially if they're first time home buyer, they just get freaked out over the littlest thing. And some of these home inspectors are really good about on knowing how to freak them out. So we try to eliminate anything that they could use against us in order to flip our house, because we want to get to closing.